Hi there, welcome back to Motherhood on a Budget. If you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Rutha Dong. And if you're a return customer, welcome back. Thank you for, coming back to watch the videos. Thank you for interacting and for the feedback, both on the post and off the post. I'm really, really grateful. And so, yeah, about 3 weeks ago, I posted on Twitter about two topics that I thought carried equal weight. And by 85% vote, people chose how to choose a hospital that you will use for the duration of your antenatal bathing, and hopefully you would have formed a relationship long enough with the hospital to use them even after putting to bed. And so, yeah, we'll quickly jump into what goes into choosing a hospital that you will use. And so, real quick, women choose hospitals based on the experience they hope to have. You want to have a lovely experience. You want to feel loved, treasured. You want, your pregnancy to feel like it is the only one. And so, when we're choosing hospitals, we choose based on I have had someone usually have like a really great experience, and I want to have that same experience. And so our hospital choices go along that line. Men, on the other hand, their hospital choices go along the money. This is what I have in my pocket. So ensure that your choices are within this bucket of money. But 70% of the men in this category are also very, they told me it's for them. What they usually do is they also kind of go with the woman's choice. The burden of the pregnancy is mostly on her. She's on carrying the pregnancy. Hormonal changes are happening to her. Her body is, the one that's changing every day and every night. She's the one who's like, most of the heavy lifting is done by the woman. So for most of them, they find it kind of almost like nonsensical to argue about the hospital choice. And you're like, let's just go to the hospital you want. And yeah, let's walk around that. And so what should you consider when you want to choose a hospital? For me, the most like important thing is the service at a hospital. How is the service at a hospital? We all want to go to a place where we feel like we are the only patient. I want to be catered to. I want to mean something at a hospital. And right, like we have a crop of hospitals that are coming up right now where they have attention to detail. How long are their lines? How long are you going to sit in the lines before you get service? How long are you going to wait for your lab results? How much attention are you getting from the midwives and the nurses and whatnot? That is really, really important, because usually one bad experience is enough to just like for you to write off a hospital. And so if you find a place that is consistent in giving you top-notch care and the experience, if you keep going back and the experience is the same, it's like they keep taking care of you, you are priority in that hospital, then I would say those are just like checkpoints, like tick, 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 please. Just that is like the first thing you go with. And the next thing, of course, is proximity. How close is the hospital to your place of work and your home? Because babies don't really announce themselves that, by the way, I'm coming here tomorrow, or, this is happening to me. They're not the sort that announce. So you want to make sure that in case, like, they surprise you, like surprise attack, you can in a jiffy, get to the hospital, or the hospital can send an ambulance to you and get to you in a jiffy. So consideration of proximity is really, really important when you're considering what choice of hospital to go to. The other thing is, Ugandans, we have a tendency to choose our hospitals based on where our doctors go. We usually are, I am seeing Dr. So-and-so through my pregnancy, and so I will go where he goes. So if you are in this category, my advice would be, make sure the hospital your doctor recommends, he has top-notch privileges, like his privileges are far and wide. Make sure it's not where he moonlights, it is where he has a lot more privileges, so that in case you arrive at the hospital before he does, you still have these privileges extended to you. You're not like a back burner, like back patient. First relax. We are dealing with the people who are more permanent here. I think that is really, really important, because we've had experiences of women where this doctor is really, really good, but they sent me to this hospital where they don't have as much privileges, and like I had like a rough time. And so you know how to do that. So if a doctor recommends a hospital, make sure his privileges at that hospital are like unquestionable. That's like really important. The other thing that is also the other thing that's also really, really important is how extensive are the services at this hospital. Are they able to handle emergencies on time? Do they have operation rooms that are fully fledged? Do they have specialists? Do they have all the medical care that can take care of you in case of an emergency? If I have preeclampsia, if I have to be operated on there and then, if like quick decisions have to be made, are they able to handle these decisions? Because you do not want to be in the middle of let's say like an emergency, and then they like hospitals are tossing you up and down, sending you up all over the town because they cannot handle something. So make sure if you are subscribing to a hospital, they are able to handle emergencies, and they're well equipped enough to deal with any emergencies that show up. Something that has also become really, really important is how good is your ped section. Because if my child comes early, if I have a premature, can you take care of my child? Do you have incubators to take care of my baby? Also, as soon as I give birth, I want to be sure that my child is in like the safest hands. So how good is your ped section? So that if there's anything, a ped can spot it right away. Because we've heard of, the child was okay for like the first 24 hours and we noticed nothing and then something happened. So you want where you're giving birth to also have a great ped section, because it doesn't make sense for you to say, our specialty is like taking care of pregnant women, and on the ped section, well, there are other hospitals. It doesn't make sense. So if you are subscribing to a hospital, make sure their maternal and child care is at par, like the both is good. Another thing that has now come up is also, do you have a lactation specialist on hand? And you're like asking, what's a lactation specialist? So a lot of women, things that they don't tell you is a lot of women in the first week struggle with breast milk production. You are kind of figuring out, like you have a child who needs to feed, but you do not know things about like latching or breast milk production and all these things. Your body is healing. Like you have so many things to deal with in the first week, and the last thing you want is to just be there saying, oh my God, I can't feed my child. I don't understand what's happening. So having a lactation specialist on hand is also becoming something that's really important, so that they start talking to you like way before the child comes. You start practicing and things like that, so that when the child actually comes, you kind of have an idea of what you are doing. And so now, if you have everything on this list ticked off, I would say, if you usually have like a few hospitals in mind, you like have recommendations from places that you want to, that you're considering. So I'd suggest you do a tour of all these hospitals, see which of them fit in the list. The proximity is good, the service is good, they have a good ped section, they have all the specialists at hand. Like if all those things are fitted into your list, then just on that list of yours of hospitals you have, just tick off the one that fits within your budget, tick off the one that fits within the money that you've set aside. And of course I have to come back to the issue of money. For payment for pregnancy services or maternity services is usually done for most people either cash or insurance. So let me start with the insurance category. If you're under insurance, I would suggest when you find out you're pregnant, go and speak to your insurance provider. Usually we have like what we call account managers. Call your account manager and ask, so how much is my maternity package? What hospitals am I being provided under this package? And what are the benefits and whatnot? Sit down, talk to them. During my time, under IAA, I had the package of about 2.5 million, and then they broke it down that 60% of the money was for bathing, whether it was for giving birth, whether you're going to have a natural or cesarean bath. So they keep for you like an amount of up to the cesarean bath, and then they keep some money for the antenatal, and then they also reserve some money for the postnatal. So it's important to have a conversation with your insurance provider to know what is being availed to you. And then on the hospitals on the list, go and check them out, see which one fits all the things that I've talked about, the proximity, the experience and whatnot, and then choose one. But also, sometimes the money that you're being given does not fit all the things that you want. Like you might want extra things that are not being provided by insurance. So that means you're probably going to have to top up with money from your pocket. Also, if you are going to doing the hospital tours, the one thing I'd advise is find out their paying policy. Are they cash oriented? Are they insurance oriented? Are they both? It's important to find out these things early. So if you're paying out of pocket, if you're paying purely cash, I know most hospitals offer packages. This is the package we have for this amount of money, for the other amount of money. Talk to them about their packages and what they cover, what concessions they can make if you're paying a lump sum, and at the beginning of the session, also, do they take installment payments? All these things are really, really important. So usually, and I know most hospitals have health, like business managers who will sit down to you and talk to you about these things. So you can just go to a hospital, say, I want to talk to a business manager about the packages that they offer, and then find the one that suits you, find the one that works for you and in your pocket, and go with that. And remember, sometimes the emergencies will happen and you will not be able to reach your hospital in time. And when this happens, just make the adjustments as and when they come, and go with what comes. And yeah, this is it for this video, and see you on the next one. I would really like to know your suggestions on what we should do next. I feel like maybe we should do 2-3 more pregnancy videos and then call it, like, just close off that chapter and move on to motherhood. And yeah, that's it for today. See you on the next one. Thank you.